On a windswept depot platform, John paces, his gaze fixed on the empty tracks while his brother Peter waits beside him. 7 years of struggle have led to this moment. A train finally chugs into the station, and John scans the disembarking passengers until he spots them, his wife, Marie, and their son, Creston. The family, separated by an ocean, is finally whole again, but their journey isn't over. Their long separation is finally over. If you never want to miss a recap of reunions like this, make sure to subscribe now. After a brief introduction to his uncle, John guides his family to a stagecoach, while Peter remains in town. Inside, they sit opposite another couple, but their fragile peace is immediately broken. An attendant forces the other couple out to make room for 2 menacing men, Paul and Lester, who take their seats. The danger is immediate and unspoken. John's family is now trapped in a confined space with 2 unpredictable strangers, their dream of a peaceful journey home now uncertain. As twilight falls, John speaks quietly with Creston about the promise of their new home. His attention is pulled away by Paul, who drinks heavily and stares openly at Marie. Paul's aggression escalates as he forces Marie to drink, recounting a chilling story about his mute wife, whom he calls his princess. The stakes have shifted from reaching home to simply surviving the ride, as Paul's predatory behavior makes it clear that violence is imminent. The tension snaps. Paul lifts Marie's dress and touches her leg. When John orders him to stop, Lester draws a revolver, pointing it directly at John's chest. Desperate, John signals Marie to bite Paul's ear, using the chaos to kick Lester's gun away. But the advantage vanishes instantly. Lester grabs Creston, holds a knife to his throat, and forces John to surrender. John now faces an impossible choice: fight and risk his son's life, or submit and abandon his family to their attackers. And just like that, the door flies open. John is shoved out, tumbling onto the dirt as he watches the coach disappear into the night. He runs, stumbling down the dark tracks in a desperate pursuit. His chase ends in horror. Near a lone, dark house, he finds the discarded, lifeless body of his son. The fight to protect his family is over. A new, darker purpose now drives him. He lifts Creston's body, his grief hardening into resolve. Carrying his son, John finds the motionless stagecoach and the murdered driver. He lays Creston down and takes up a rifle. He shoots out a lantern, blanketing the area in darkness. A figure moves. John fires. Lester falls, a bullet in his forehead. Paul bolts into the woods. Another shot finds its mark. John approaches the wounded man, raises his rifle, and delivers a final, vengeful shot to the head. His vengeance was swift, but it could not bring back the dead. John approaches the coach, fearing what he will find inside. The next day, he returns to his small homestead, with the bodies of his wife and son draped over his horses. His brother Peter finds him there, sitting silently beside his murdered family. The dream of a new life is now a funeral pyre. The stakes have become absolute. John has lost everything, leaving only the question of what comes next. But while John grieved, the consequences of his actions were already spreading. In the town of Black Creek, the bodies of Paul and Lester are brought before Mayor Keene. They are soon confronted by Paul's brother, the infamous gang leader, Henry Delarue, who demands the killer's name. Sheriff Malik has no answers, but Delarue is not interested in justice. He wants a price. He gives the town 2 hours to produce the killer, threatening that failure will mean the public execution of 2 citizens. What would a town do when faced with such a choice? The deadline passes. In the town square, Delarue makes good on his promise. He executes an elderly woman and a crippled man, then murders a 3rd man out of sheer spite. To compound the town's suffering, he doubles their protection fee, ensuring their misery will continue until the killer is found. The town of Black Creek is now under siege, its survival dependent on finding John. While Black Creek mourns, Delarue buries his brother. He stands with Madeline, Paul's mute widow, and promises her he will find the man responsible. He tells her he will take care of her now, but her face remains a mask of silent sorrow. A prominent scar across her lips, the only sign of her own violent past. Her fate is now tied to Delarue, a man as dangerous as the one she just lost. Unaware of the manhunt, John and Peter ride into town to sell pelts, intending to leave for good. But John is recognized by Mrs. Delgado, the woman from the stagecoach, who immediately alerts the sheriff. John goes to sell his land to Mayor Keene, who tells him about the lunatic who killed Delarue's brother, unknowingly describing John to his face. The town is a closing trap, and John is walking right into it. John takes the money for his land and turns to leave. He is immediately surrounded by armed townsmen led by Sheriff Malik. A desperate flight through an alley ends when the sheriff shoots his horse and he is captured. And this is the exact moment where John's quest for personal vengeance collides with the town's desperate need for survival. Meanwhile, Delarue is warned that he must secure the valley's oil-rich land quickly, making John's capture more urgent than ever. In jail, John finds Peter, beaten but alive. Sheriff Malik explains that sacrificing John to Delarue will buy the town time, much like a shepherd sacrificing a single sheep to save the flock from wolves. Soon, Delarue's men, led by the Corsican, arrive. They bind John and take him away, leaving him to face Delarue's justice alone. The stakes are now John's life against the town's temporary peace. Delarue's men string John up to a pole, leaving him to bake in the sunday. Delarue presents him to Madeline as her husband's killer, but John retorts that Paul was a rapist and a child murderer. Delarue strikes him for speaking and leaves him to his fate. His survival now seems impossible. Adding insult to injury, Mayor Keene arrives and pulls John's boots from his feet, taking the money he was paid for his land. While the town is at church, Peter remains in jail under a single guard. He methodically taunts the deputy whose jaw he broke, pushing him past his breaking point. The guard rushes the cell in a rage, and Peter seizes the opportunity, slamming the man's face into the bars and securing his escape. The balance of power has shifted. John is no longer alone. That night, Delarue assaults Madeline, twisting her tragic past into a sick fantasy. As rain falls, Peter infiltrates the camp. He silently kills 2 guards and cuts John down from the pole. The escape is sounded. Delarue and his men give chase, and Peter and John flee on horseback into the storm. Their only goal is to outrun the posse and survive the night. During the chase, John falls from his horse, too weak to continue. Now, put yourself in Peter's shoes. Your brother is wounded. The posse is closing in. What do? Peter makes the only choice he can. He hides John behind a rock with a rifle and rides on alone, drawing the pursuers away in a final act of sacrifice. The next day, John watches as Delarue's men return, dragging his brother's dead body. Now, the fight is not just for survival, it's for vengeance. Delarue returns to find his camp raided and his safe empty. Madeline has taken the money and fled by train. The Corsican intercepts the train and captures her. Dragged back to the camp, she faces Delarue's fury. He orders his men to have their way with her and then kill her. Her survival now depends on an outside force. That force is John, who confronts Mayor Keene and learns the truth. Delarue is after the land for the black, sticky oil beneath it. John arms himself with help from Wojciech, the storekeeper's grandson, who insists on joining the fight for his own revenge. Together, they launch their assault. John creates a diversion with Keene's body in a coffin, while Wojciech sets the barn ablaze, flushing Delarue's men into the open. The final battle has begun. The objective is simple: kill or be killed. From the rooftops and shadows, John and Wojciech pick off their targets. Wojciech sets one man on fire with kerosene, but is shot and killed in the process. Inside the burning house, with her captor distracted, Madeline seizes her chance for freedom as John kills the Corsican. The fight is chaotic and brutal, dwindling to a one-on-one confrontation. John hunts down the last henchman, killing him with a knife through the floorboards before slitting his throat. Wounded, John collapses, only to see Delarue standing over him, gun raised. But before Delarue can fire, a shot rings out. Madeline stands with a rifle, having shot Delarue in the back. John rises and delivers the final, fatal shot to Delarue's head. A tense moment passes between them before they lower their guns, their shared ordeal creating a silent pact. Sheriff Malik and his posse ride into the aftermath, ready to claim the oil-rich land for themselves. His eyes fall on Madeline, the last loose end. But he's made a fatal miscalculation. After everything he's been through, it all comes down to this one final stand. John stands with Madeline, guns raised, and forces the sheriff to back down. With the corrupt law vanquished, John and Madeline take 2 horses and ride away together. 2 survivors bound by violence, heading into an uncertain future as oil rigs begin to rise from the land they leave behind.